Hey and welcome. We're so glad to have you tuning in with us today. My name is Michael and I'm the senior pastor at Community Church, and we want you to know every single week our team works so hard to bring content, to bring a message that would be encouraging for your life, where we take the scriptures and we make them practical in your life, how you can apply the truth, the promise, the goodness of God's word to your life in a way that you could move forward and ultimately live fully alive. I hope you enjoy this week's message.
But welcome again, everybody. It's so good to have you in the house. If you're new today, my name is Michael. I'm a senior pastor here at Community. And man, we are in a moment as a church when it's really exciting to just see all that God is doing in people's lives. This past week, maybe you were able to be at a part of a service we had on Monday night. We called it a healing service just because we took intentional time, extended time to pray for people to be healed. And we are still hearing stories of people being healed. One of my favorites. Yeah, but I want to tell you a couple. One of my favorite stories was that of, we prayed specifically that people would get text from friends and family members because we were praying for people not in the room. And one person, we dismissed service Monday night at 8:13. One person got a text at 8:16 in the parking lot from a friend that said, "The doctor just called and I don't have bladder cancer." Prayed for her, believing that would happen. One of our young people, a child who had gone to the doctor who had gone to the doctor recently, he had a growth on his brain, and they said it was Alzheimer's. And there was another disease potentially. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. The doctors are like, we'll for sure find out what it is, but they were sure it was something. They went to the doctor on Wednesday after our Monday healing service, and the doctor said, "It's nothing to worry about. It's just something he'll grow with, no disease, nothing to be concerned about." And so we're just like pumped kind of in this moment. And if that sounds weird to you, if you're new to church, we just believe that God promised wholeness and healing forever. That's what the scriptures say, that in heaven there will be no pain, no sickness, no crying. And so we just come to God today and say, as a loving Father, we're just asking you to give us some of today what you already promised us forever. And so we ask him, and he shows up and does miracles. And so it's really, really exciting. And I just want to encourage you, if you are in need of God, physically, emotionally, mentally, just for healing, for a touch in your life or your relationships, keep asking because we're in a moment of seeing that happen, and it's really exciting. Even as we are in this series, if you are new, we're in this series called Fix Your Focus. And today I want to continue. We're in week number 3 on this Mother's Day weekend, and we're going to talk about mastering your mind. Mastering your mind. How many of you could say it's true? Sometimes your mind just goes a million different directions. Come on. And how many of you can say it's true? It would feel really good to be able to master that. That is what we're going to talk about today. Really excited. We've been looking at this verse every week, Proverbs chapter 11, Proverbs chapter 11, verse 27 says this: "If you search for good, you will find favor, but if you search for evil, it will find you." If you are looking for good, that's what you're going to find. But if you're looking for bad, that is typically what you're going to find. In fact, you could just think of it this way: your mind tells you what you will find. Your mind tells you what you will find, which is why it's so important for us to master our mind. I was sitting outside at a coffee shop the other day, and my son Griffin came up, and he didn't just come up. He came with his mom. Megan brought him, because that'd be weird, because he's 2. But just drove up, But it's so cute, right? And if you're a parent, or have you ever seen a small kid, sometimes they're just really sweet, and he's just like, "Daddy, I love you." And I'm like, "Yeah, I love you," And then he looks over and he's like, "I love that red car." and in that moment, I was like, I feel like the "Daddy, I love you" lost a little bit of the special feel. Like me and this random red car that's got scratches and dents in the back of it that he doesn't know whose it is. He loves that car the same amount he loves me. See, you're gonna find what you look for. In moments like that, and I know that sounds so simple, how often do we hear or receive something that could have been good, but then we hear something that maybe could have made it not as good, and we decide to go after what was not as good and be that what we hang our hat on? Oh, they didn't really mean that. Oh, I guess I'm not as special as I thought I was. If you search for good, it's what you'll find. If you search for evil, it's what you'll find. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23 says this: "Above all, guard the affections of your heart, for they affect all that you are. Pay attention to the welfare of your innermost being, for from there flows the wellspring of your life. If you're taking notes, write this down. Your life follows your focus. Your life follows your focus. Some of you today, you're a young person, you're thinking about college, you're thinking about summer, you're thinking about just getting out of school. Some of you are thinking about retirement. So many things and all in between. Our life is gonna go in the direction of our focus. Your life will always follow your focus. My life will follow, am I in a bad mood or am I in a good mood? Well, it depends. What were you focused on in the first place? Are doors opening? Well, it depends. Where is your focus? Your life follows your focus. Because what I would like to tell you in this whole series is that, life is easy. But we all know that's not true. What I'd like to tell you in this series is there's a secret formula so that you don't even have to try to focus on the good. You don't even notice the bad. But that's also not true. Instead, I want to show us that every one of us does have the ability to choose how we focus. I want to talk about science for just a moment. If you're new to our church, I like to sometimes bring in how the Bible just confirms what science already, or what science says when, let me say that the other way. How science sometimes confirms what the scriptures have already said. There's this thing called brain plasticity. Come on, somebody. And so I want to tell you how Dr. Caroline Leaf explains it. She says, brain plasticity means that the changes that occur in the brain as a result of thinking and lifestyle choices. Brain plasticity allows us to master simple skills or sports and also allows us to train ourselves to be more positive, whether it is raining or the sun is shining, literally and figuratively. Deliberate thinking changes intellectual, cognitive, emotional, social, and academic performance. You can change your brain with your mind, and by doing so, change your life. We can retrain the brain to focus on the good things in life. God said, if you search for good, that's what you'll find. If you search for evil, that's what you'll find. Then years and years now of scientific research goes, you can train your mind to find and live from the good. Well, yeah, that's what God said. But how many of us, if we're not careful, we've said, I believe God's word, but I've got all this difficult stuff I have to deal with. And therefore, I focus on all that difficult stuff. It literally is so simple of negative or positive. A different day with Griffin. He's getting all the illustrations lately. We were up at Gather. He was sitting outside. I just remember he was there. I look up in the sky, and this is one of those moments, and it's cloudy and rainy this weekend in Hampton Roads, but if you ever had this moment when you look up in the sky, and you can look one direction, and there is not a cloud in the sky. You're like, it is amazing. You look the other direction, and you're like, oh, it's on. Like, if you're in Hampton Roads and you were hanging out in your closet last night because of the tornado warnings or whatever room in the house, it's like one side looks beautiful, the other side you can tell where do you focus? It literally is that simple. Here's what James says. One of the best passages of scripture, and by best I mean worst, James chapter 1 says this, my fellow believers, when it seems as though you're facing nothing but difficulties, see it as an invaluable opportunity to experience the greatest joy you can. For you know that when your faith is tested, it stirs up power within you to endure all things. And then as your endurance grows even stronger, it will release perfection into every part of your being until there is nothing missing, nothing lacking. Consider it amazing, he says, whenever on one side it looks like all of life is falling apart. Why? Because there's another side where life is being shaped exactly how God wants it to be. Where is our focus? Our focus, if we're gonna see in the way that James talks about right here, we have to get our minds right. We have to get our mindset right. Every one of us here today, we have a mindset. We live from our mindset. Some of us would say we have a positive mindset. Some of us would say we have a negative mindset. Some of us today would say, I have no idea. What is a mindset? A mindset's an attitude or it's a cluster of thoughts that have attached information and emotions that generate a particular perception. They shape how you see and interact with the world. They can catapult you forward, allowing you to achieve your dreams, or put you in reverse. A mindset is therefore a significant mental resource and source of power. Your mindsets set your expectation levels. So when James says, my fellow believers, when it seems as though you're facing nothing but difficulties, he says these three words. You can write these three words down. See it as. See it. What do you see it as? What do you see it as? When you got up this morning, what did you see this day as? When you first saw another person today, what did you see that connection as? What is your it? What is your it today that you need to think about how you see? That painful coworker. See it as. That financial or emotional stress tied to your finances. See it as. That physical sickness that isn't fun and you're really just kind of tired of it. And James says, see it as. What do you see it as? Because if we believe the scriptures today, and we believe that just these three verses, even from James, that he wants to take us to a place, James chapter 1, verse 4 says, where there is nothing lacking, where there is nothing missing. In order for me to know and live from that mindset, I have to first see it as God sees it. Which everything I walk through, he's turning. Everything I walk through, he's turning for good. Every single moment, he goes, if you will see what I'm doing in this moment, you will see it as good. There's no secret formula. It's a mindset. Here's why I struggle with this. Because there's things going on around me that like go against the mindset I want to have. The things around me, if you think about like a T-bone, not a steak, but if you think about like like if a car was a T-bone like this, like it's like, okay, I want to go this way, but the things around me are coming straight at it feels like. And those things that come around into my mind, they make me want to go a different direction. And if I'm not careful, I start to get so caught up on the things that are around me, and I'll give the things that are around me more power than the thing that is in me. See, my life follows my focus. My focus is determined by what comes from the inside. What is around me on the outside does not have the power to determine my life. That's why the Apostle Paul said in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, he said, stop imitating the ideals and opinions of the culture around you. Stop imitating the ideals of the culture around you, but be inwardly transformed by the Holy Spirit through a total reformation of how you think. This will empower you to discern God's will as you live a beautiful life, satisfying and perfect in his eyes. Stop imitating the ideals and opinions of the culture around you. Do you know what I have decided are the number one things about the ideals and opinions of the culture around us? Two things that I think we could learn today that T-bone what God wants to do inside of us. The first is be selfish. The second is think about bad things. What's going on around us? Those two things. Be selfish. Think about negative things. I got to thinking about this. Do you know, you might go here because when you hear something, it triggers memories and makes you go down a line of thinking. But I started to think the other day, I can remember so many more of the bad things in my life quickly than I can the good things. Like I can remember in a moment, I can remember my senior year playing basketball when we had won one conference that we weren't supposed to win. And I don't even really remember the details of that, but I remember the game we lost when I thought we were gonna win. And we were winning at halftime. And I was like, this is gonna be the most amazing thing. We were gonna beat St. Francis Borgia. And it was gonna be so incredible that this small town in Missouri was gonna take out, I remember it. We had a lot of other things that we did that were good that I remember that. I stopped to think about, and I don't mean anything by this, so I hope that you don't take offense to what I'm about to say. So if you do, well, whatever. But I started to think about how just in American history, we are more focused on remembering the bad things that have happened. Like we're taught to. 9/11, the most tragic thing that has happened in my lifetime. The way that is reinforced is to remember the bad. We're not told, remember how a nation unified. Remember how people, regardless of skin color, unified. Remember how people, regardless of beliefs, unified in a moment. Remember how people came together and love really won the day. See, that's not what we teach. The culture around us says it needs to be selfish about you and needed to focus on the bad things. Where's your focus? Could it be true that when we're focusing on those two things, we're simply not focusing where God wants us to be, period? There's this amazing passage of scripture in Romans chapter 8. And I'm gonna read it to you today in the Message translation. It's a paraphrase translation. A guy named Eugene Peterson, who was a pastor and author, wrote this Message translation many years ago as a way to just help put the Bible in everyday language. And this passage of scripture, it talks about, not in the Message translation, in most other translation, it'll use words flesh and spirit, and it'll talk about how in life we're either controlled by the flesh, which is selfishness, or we're controlled by God, which is spirit. And I want to read this paraphrase to you because I think it speaks to really the internal struggle that we all have for focus. It says this beginning in verse 5, those who think they can do it on their own end up obsessed with measuring their own moral muscle, but never get around to exercising it in real life. Those who trust God's actions in them find that God's spirit is in them, living and breathing God. Obsession with self in these matters is a dead end. Attention to God leads us into spacious, free life. Focusing on the self is the opposite of focusing on God. Anyone completely absorbed in self ignores God, ends up thinking more about self than God. That person ignores who God is and what he is doing, and God isn't pleased at being ignored. We either focus on ourselves because that's what the culture around us tells us to do, or we focus on God. He goes, it's one way or the other. And here's how you know. If you're focused on God, you're gonna have these two things. You're gonna have peace and life. And if you're focused on self, it's gonna feel like death. Here's why. Because when I focus on myself, I can never get enough. When I am like, come on, all about Michael, all about Michael, all about Michael. Everybody needs to do this for Michael. Has anybody ever been like that before? You just need to do everything for Michael? I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Like you get up in the morning, you're like, it's just, you don't even say it, but it's how you feel. And it's the reason you're fighting with your kids. And it's the reason you're fighting with your spouse. And it's the reason you don't want to look at your coworkers. And it's the reason you don't want to look at your boss. It's the reason you don't want to look at your employees. It's about me. And you're frustrated. See, the scripture says it leads to death. And so what we think is, well, that means well, you are dying. You are not living. The opposite of living is dying. There's people living on the earth today. There is no medical diagnosis that says they're dying, but they are dying because they're focused on themselves. He goes, no, when we focus on God, we come alive. Culture around me, just don't do that. Do you know one of the ways we can really test this and check this for our life today is how our focus is in the moment? Because one of the things for me is that whenever I'm in a moment, if I'm not careful, I'm simply thinking about getting to the next moment. I'm simply thinking about how I could be doing something that might be more awesome. Is there anybody like me at church today? I just want to, again, just like to know the truth of who's like me. I'm like, and I've taught this before, but some people call it FOMO, fear of missing out. I'm like, I don't want to, I just, if I'm not careful, I just live with so much FOMO because this might be, this person, I might be talking to this person one-on-one, but there's like 100 other people, and maybe talking to one of those other 100 people would be better for my life than talking to this one person. I feel really lonely. Just be honest, if you know what I'm saying right now, just go ahead and lift your hand up there. And see, the problem is I don't even like to admit this. That is obsession with self. Because God is in the moment. See, God is in the other person. God is in me being in the moment that he has me and going, I'm seeking, I'm searching you. If this is what you've put right in front of me, this is where I need to be. I need to be fully invested in this moment. But I can never be fully invested in a moment if I'm focused on another moment I'm not in. Oh yeah, honey, I'm all about you right now. But your mind is thinking about 100 other things. Oh yeah, kids. Oh yeah, whatever it is. How do I know I'm having life and peace? Because I'm in the moment. Because let me tell you, I cannot have life and peace if I'm always trying to get in another moment. I'm frustrated. I'm constantly thinking there must be something else. God goes, fix your focus. I think that the other part of Romans chapter 8, verse 5 through 8 that we need to realize is that most of us, even Christians, we just disagree with it. Because as we study it out, what I find is that even in church, not our church at all, but all the other churches, it's a joke if you're new. Make sure. We think a lot about ourselves. We think a lot about focusing in on ourselves. And that's not what God calls us to do. That's simply not what he calls us to do. And I'm going to make a statement that I could preach a whole message series on, but I think it'll help you fix your focus, is this: God's word is true even if it contradicts how you feel. God's word is true even if it contradicts how we feel. Listen, I feel a lot of ways that this doesn't tell me I should think and live. And the culture around me and the culture around you is saying, well, only part of the Bible is actually true. And the culture around me and the culture around you is saying, focus on how you feel. And when I focus on how I feel, I'll end up focusing on that which contradicts what God has already said is true. Because that selfish desire inside of me is always leading me away. This is why, back to brain plasticity, that I want us to catch something today. We can think the way we're called to think. We can focus the way God called us to focus. We simply have to make the choice. We can have life. We can have peace, every single one of us. It's simply making the choice. That same, Dr. Leaf also said this. I want to make sure I don't missay this quote. If I don't find it, I will missay. There it is. She said this: it's been found that 12 minutes of daily focused prayer over an 8-week period can change the brain to such an extent that it can be measured on a brain scan. But I end up focusing on the feeling in the moment. And therefore, I end up contradicting, and I end up taking the literal power I have right here to change my life. I let it master me instead of mastering it. I said a few weeks ago that feelings are liars, and I don't think that's always true. I do think it is most of the time. And I think for us to walk into what God has for us, all of us, we kind of need to be willing to say, God, I want to be focused more on what your word says. I want to be focused more on truth. Instead of letting our feelings determine our focus, let God's word determine your focus. How should I focus? Let God's word determine your focus. Because what happens when we do? You live fully alive. It is the only way to do it. But if you and I aren't careful, all of my feelings, they end up focused somewhere else. Essentially, the way you think through our mindsets, the ones we all adopt, they influence these, they call them, you ready? I don't even know what this means, but for those of you that do, the neural correlates in our brain that influences our words and action. In turn, these words and actions influence the brain, and a feedback loop is established based on your mindset. I love feedback. Do you love feedback when you're talking to somebody? You love to know like they're paying attention to you. Any teenagers in the room, you love feedback when we're talking to your parents. Parents, you love feedback when you're talking to your teenagers. My understanding as a dad without teenagers is most of you don't do either. But we're gonna work on that in Jesus' name, right? All of us, we love feedback. The most important place we need to make sure we're giving feedback is to ourselves right here. What does this feedback loop look like? You've heard me say this before if you're a part of our church, the most important words you hear are the words that come out of your own mouth. The words that come out of your mouth are determined by what you're focused on. If the words that come out of my mouth are the grumbling frustrations based on my feelings, what I'm doing is creating a feedback loop where I'm actually creating in my mind a focus on how I feel instead of a focus on who God says He is and who I am. It's hard for me because even, I go into a message series like this and I'm like, wow, it's so much focus I have to do because there's so many things around me that are causing me to want to feel a different way. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying when we do this, it works. It works. You can master your mind. You can master your mind. You got to change your feedback loop. If you don't like where your focus usually goes, flip the script. If you don't like where your focus usually goes, flip the script. How do you do that? You change the feedback loop. Whenever that's that feeling that's starting to come in, you make sure the words that are coming out of your mouth declare more of who God says you are. That's how you do it. You and I, we create a repertoire inside that speaks who God says I am. That He says I am smart. He says I am loved. He says He does have plans for me. I was talking to one of our leaders just this past Saturday, and I was so proud of him. It's so cool. He's talking about how they have these like family mantras they do in the morning where their family will just begin to, everybody in the family, they just declare who God says they are. We have identity cards. They're on our website. We have them at different places in our church. Why do we do these things? Because there's so many things around us that try to define who we are. And I'm gonna focus on what I hear the most of. And if all I'm hearing around the outside isn't good, I gotta make sure that what's coming out of here gives me more of what I actually need to hear coming in. Are you willing to do the work? Most people we just let our thoughts run our life. We just ride trains we were never meant to ride. We end up with anger we were never meant to carry. We end up with beliefs and thoughts about people that are lies. What we do if we're not careful is we take a whole bunch of lies and we make them truth. And it all starts small with a feeling that wasn't true and that becoming what I've allowed to be my focus. And so what I'm praying, what I'm hoping today is a couple things. Number one, we'll really believe that our life follows our focus. That if I want to know what my life's going to look like in 5 years, I don't need to look any further than where my focus is. And that God really has given every one of us the ability to master our mind. Not that we needed it, but science just proved it. It's His Holy Spirit. It's Him working in us. That's why Jesus said in John chapter 14 that we would do greater works than he did when he was on the earth. And his intention was to make sure we all knew that when Jesus left the earth, he died on the cross, rose from the grave, he left the earth. He sent himself, his spirit, he is Holy Spirit to live inside of us. That is greater than literally having Jesus walking right next to you on the earth today. That is what it means to be a follower of Jesus. And he's going, and I can help you think and focus the way you're called to think and focus. It's a choice. Would you close your eyes with me today? God, I pray for every person here today. I pray for every person here today, God, where there's been a struggle to think right thoughts, where there's been a struggle to focus on your truth. I pray for every one of us here today, God, who have made feelings our focus, whether true or false. And I'm asking you right now inside of every one of our hearts and our minds that Holy Spirit, you would give us a renewed focus on you right now. I pray we would hear you declare to us who we are. I pray we would hear you declare to us who you are. God, I pray you'd change every one of us today. Help us fix our focus. Maybe you're here today just with eyes closed and the world around you has been taking you out often. And the reason that's been happening is because you've not decided to trust Jesus for life. You've not put your faith in Jesus as your Savior. You've not said, I'm gonna follow him. Or maybe you're here today and you've been away from church for some time and you came back today on this Mother's Day weekend. A friend brought you. Your mom said, come on, you're coming to church with me. Or you said, I'm gonna go with you, Mom, whatever the case may be. For whatever reason, you just find yourself here today. And you know the truth is that whether it's been for a couple days, weeks, months, maybe years, you used to believe and follow Jesus, but the truth is your life you haven't been living for him. And you're here today and you say, I need to renew my relationship with him. I need to recommit to following Jesus right now. So if you're here today and you'd say, I need to put my faith in Jesus, or you're here today and you'd say, you know what, I've been living my own way. I've been going after the ways of the world around me, and today I want to change. I'm coming back. I'm recommitting my life to Jesus. If you're in either of those two places, would you just lift your hand up in the air right now and say, that's me right now. I'm coming back. I'm committing, whatever it may be. Awesome. 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 Just a couple more moments. If that's you, just lift your hand up. God sees those hands, but more importantly, he sees your heart. God, I thank you for these men and women with hands up. You can put your hands down. If you lifted your hand, if you're already an all-in follower of Jesus, just repeat this prayer with me. Say, Jesus, thank you for loving me, for forgiving me, giving me life. Today, I've decided my trust, my hope, and my future is in you. I thank you that because of you, my focus is fixed. In Jesus' name, amen.